Checking that guy out. Can you hear me out there? It's been a minute. It took me a while to get back set up. I forgot how to do this. Can you hear me? Gotta brush my techniques back up here. I need, all right, so clearly y'all can hear me. Or VC Realm can hear me. So yeah, we got VC Realm, Shaka Nulu back in the building. JF. Yeah, I've been working, JF. I got, listen. I've definitely been working. True Self. Knowledge. 7. Rome Fetty. But yeah, that's yeah. I got off, in my opinion, right in the nick of time before a lot of controversial topics arose. Me personally, I didn't see what none of the like what the hype was about. I didn't like a lot of things. It's like, like it's some things that it's like that's been the case. You know what I'm saying? But then it's like you see people getting all excited about it at a certain time, and you're like, damn, why is that? You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit crazy. But I really, my point of view was just certain times in the when we coming up with ideas on how to analyze certain things, right? Sometimes we go off the deep end with our thinking. All right, got District 120, the bar, Wise Prince, West Coast. So one thing that I saw where it's not like, like I said, you see it however you want to see it, but just this one point right here, I don't know who needs to hear this, right? But you can't use the code to defend people that's off code. Like, people who's off code and you're not a team player, right? You can't use the ethics of the team in order to justify what it is that you did. See, let me give you an example of what I'm saying. Let's say we all from the sandbox, right? A lot of times when I do my, Socratic method or whatever, I use street examples. So let's say, we all from the sandbox, grew up, we gang now. We gang. It's all for one, one for all. Right? And then one of us snitches. You cannot use the brotherhood, right, that we shared in your defense. Like when the brothers catch up to whoever this is that snitched, now he's going to start talking about his all for one and one for all. Wait a minute. Didn't you already destroy that? So certain times, my thing is just like, look, there's some fights where, look, you simply don't have a dog in that fight. See, because what's the point of having a code if there's no rewards and penalties? What's the point of having a code? There is no code then. If a person can do anything and still be with the code, see, first of all, let's look, I know I'm stretching it. These is not the situations that came up, but I'm just saying certain things I think it needs to be illustrated because you make yourself look ridiculous, right? And you take away your credibility when you're doing things like that. When you're using the code to defend people that's off code. You see what I'm saying? When you not understanding that this person serving a penalty is a part of the code. Now, like I said, I'm gonna reach a little bit here. But it's common knowledge. Right? How many people during the history of whatever struggle we've been having in America, right? From the time Harriet Tubman is coming to give some people some salvation, there's motherfuckers that's off code. There's motherfuckers that's going to tell. See, that's the reality what's been happening. Motherfuckers who be off code to the point where you kill motherfuckers. There's people that's been fighting for us that have been killed and lined up by somebody who looks like us. I know I'm 5%. Everybody ain't like me. So I'm not going to say he's one of us. He's not one of me. I'm not a part of that group he's in. But do we turn around now and defend this motherfucker because of the code? See, that's how far that goes. That's how ridiculous that begins to look. See, now the code has become religion, if that's how you're doing it. It's become religion. So now you believe in this so much, right, that all of the facts don't matter. See, now we just emotional about it. You see, on the flip side, right? On the flip side, because I hear these conversations, and look, on the flip side, there's no white code. If all of this talk about white people being, ain't no white code. If there's a white code, Trump is off it. There is no white code. I don't know, everybody, we live in different places. Here in New York, we got a lot of white people. They fight all the time. There's no white code. White supremacy is an accumulation of white people being white. That's why you could never, whenever they ask you, they say, all right, well, tell me something that's racist. And then you got to go all the way back to slavery. Because you don't really understand that there is no code. See, in reality, the existence of, this white people, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to Irish and Italians or Anglos or Saxons or whatever tribes they came from, right? They come to America and become white people, right? That process in and of itself was racist. That was racism, right? When you deal with neighborhoods, all these different neighborhood lines, the school districts, the congressional districts, right? All of that was first established through and because of racism. So see, what a white person is doing is preserving their neighborhood. When they preserve their community, when they preserve their values, right? Those values is built on top of racism. So it's just an accumulation of them preserving their shit. Like when they say, nah, look, we don't want certain people going to school over here. But to them, they're not thinking they don't think about Black people on the average day. They only think about preserving what they got. And so there's no real code. There's just a whole bunch of them preserving what they have. Listen, here's my evidence of why there's never been a white code, right? Can anybody, and let's go specifically, right? Let's say specifically from 1400 to the present day right now, right? Tell me which 100-year period. You can start on any year, end on any year, but tell me which 100-year period white people was not fighting and killing each other. And we ain't talking about Chicago. We ain't talking about Chicago level killing. They killed 50 million people in World War II alone. We ain't talking about Chicago, a couple people get shot. See, like, we always put France and England together. France and England never got along. During that whole time, they call it the French and Indian War, but that really was between France and England. So where's the code? What's the code? She might put me on. The hell is that? So it's the emergency is done. But can anyone out there define to me what these codes are? The Black code or the white code? the code, this time is running out and they know it? You think all of them know it? Because I'm just telling you right now, I take you downtown to Times Square and I show you a whole bunch of white people that they're totally oblivious that there is a code. Like I'm saying, the people that's caught up in the heroin epidemic and all of that, a lot of white people now. I don't think they are in the code. He said recessive genes have a limited shelf life. Yeah, but what's that life? Well, when you say at a high level, I'm guessing that you're saying that at a high level of society, the different levels of society, you saying that at the highest level of society, that white people is on code? Jason Rosario. Is that what you're saying? See, I'm gonna tell you another reason why this white code is not a thing to me, right? Because see, when you start talking like that, right, you turn this white supremacy into this like impervious, powerful force. Nah, it's not. It's easily defeated. Now, it takes the right mindset. It takes some courage, but I'm talking about in the execution of defeating it, right? What's going to happen? Well, everybody's probably a little bit in the dark because, sometimes I'm that way with my rants. But, look, a lot of things that's been going on in the media lately, and people choosing sides, right? And, I'm noticing that there's a strong element of people choosing sides based on Black people got to be on code. You're going to use the phrase white supremacy. I call it recessive genetic survival. Look, whatever you call it, it doesn't matter. We're talking about the same thing, right? As long as you talk about the same thing, we good. Okay, now Edward Green said there's no white code or Black code. It's about proper etiquette at certain times. Okay, what's that etiquette? Okay. Well, you said you don't know what code I'm talking about. I'm saying, just in the push and pull of everyday life, right? In the push and pull of everyday life, uh, you know, uh, in America, a lot is about popularity. You know what I'm saying? It's about how many people you got in your faction, right? And different factions, they have, it's perceived that they have a kind of public, like this brother said, a public etiquette that they go according to, right? That allows them to be successful. And so, you know, in a lot of instances, right, you know, when we dealing with the code, right, when we on code, see, sometimes we could be wrong, but because our code says that we defend each other, or we defend this situation, or we defend against those people, right, then we supposed to let the code trump what it was that happened. Edward Green said, depends on said person's allegiances or agenda is not going to help someone persecute my brother publicly. I would address them in private if I think he's wrong. Okay, now, now we're getting to the nitty gritty. Now we're getting to the nitty gritty. Now, you know, at some level, right, depending on what he's done, that reflects on you, Edward Green. And let me, because you use a very specific word here, and let me be more clear, right? There's a difference between persecute and prosecute. So yeah, persecution, that's wrong. The prosecution is something different. Yeah, boy, kid, you hit it on the head. So you could easily slip into being pro-Black and anti-white. And see, that's the question. That's a good question right there, Edward Green. Are we confusing sometimes prosecution with persecution? Like, look, for instance, in New York City, right? We dealing with that issue right now, right? Is that through the criminal justice system, there was people being persecuted. There was people being locked up for little or nothing or the wrong reason, right? Some people was even innocent, and you had people committing suicide because they was on Rikers Island for years. And so enough cases of that persecution came up that they took away bail. And now people who should be prosecuted is out here on the street pushing people on the train tracks and hitting people in the head, stabbing people in random attacks. So if one of those people, right, here's where we start to cross the line. If one of those people push somebody on the tracks, do we turn around and, start comparing? Yeah, well, what about what this other guy did over here? Why you got to say something because he's Black? Now we've jumped off the deep side of we've jumped off the deep side of the pool. Right is right and wrong is wrong. If I'm asked a direct question, I would answer honestly, but I would not start name calling and piling on to the situation. I mean, some of this, and that's a line right there that exists now too, right? With this political correctness, right? With the name I call you is what you did. Like I called you the name that coincides with your actions. Because remember, it goes positive and negative. Like right now, if I call LeBron James a basketball player, that's name calling. See, here's the thing. Justice is a penalty or reward for one's deeds and actions. You could say people is piling on, but how many people did you offend? You can't offend 100 people, and then when it gets to 50 people, you like, oh, y'all just piling on now. See, that's like Harvey Weinstein saying that, yeah, all these other women, yeah, y'all just piling on. Nah, what about what you did? See, a lot is often dependent on when you start the clock. If you start the clock from when the person served justice, then it looks like they was wrong, but you don't know what happened. Neely Fuller Jr. proposed the black code. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And what is that code? Like, what do we do? If the name is not subjective and you're honest, I would have to agree with the name. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what happens. See, especially when you're talking about the good, when you talk about these public figures, right? Because when your movie, who's this? Asukili Bandele. Shout out to Asukili Bandele. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. When people say piling on, right? If they put out a movie and your movie already sold 100 million and then people come back to see it, you don't say, oh, y'all just piling on. Now I don't even need all this money. Nah. Don't sell no more tickets. They just piling on. See, you don't say it then. So you got to that's equality, man. See, that's the thing about freedom, man. That's the thing about equality, right? That's the thing about wisdom. See, wisdom is action. See, good things can happen and bad things can happen. See, when you're free to go for the good, you're free to go for the bad. There's good equality and bad equality. So that's where, a lot of these people, when it comes to piling on, that's like Japan, you bomb Pearl Harbor, and then when they send all the $2, I just piling on. Y'all piling on. Nah, Holmes, what are you talking about? So wait, what's this you say here? Is this the black code? Spend waking hours doing something constructive to instill a system of justice. Don't hold conversations with anyone unless it's dealing with constructive matters. Sleep appropriate hours. Maintain proper diet. Okay, now that's what I'm saying, right? Let's say we talk about, now I don't know Neely Fuller Jr. personally, but does he eat pig? I'm just asking. But see, like, look, I eat chicken and fish and turkey, right? To somebody who's a vegan, then I'm not on code. Sleep appropriate hours, scrams. I'm off code. I rest when I get tired. I get up when I got something to do. We mean appropriate hours. Appropriate for what? Like this is where we start to go off the deep end, man. This is where we're going off the deep end. When you think, do white people do that? Does anybody else do that? I just see some people going along to get along in some of these situations, moving with whatever the trendy opinion is on the matter, and they will throw a person to the wolves. I mean, on the flip side, they also jump on the bandwagon a lot because of that. Like, this, and look, this is a side note. This really don't have nothing to do with this, but this is just a funny thing that happens, right? It's super gay to me, right? Matter of fact, let me take them on the table. I shout out to the LGBTQ. I don't, I just had a flashback. So, but it's really stupid to me, right? When a person argues with another person, right? Two people is having an argument, right? And the one person's standpoint, like you're arguing with this other person about how much somebody else got. Like they say, yo, that person got $1 billion. And then the other person say, yeah, I doubt that. Yo, how could you ready to jump out the gym. you ready to come off the top turnbuckle. Only somebody else money. And you call another person like you're strange. This person doesn't even know you. They wouldn't loan you 50 cents. And you sit there and argue with them. Nah, he got this much money, man. No, you be the hater, man. See, well, it's because he's black, man. So if you white, you wouldn't be saying that. I say the same shit about Elon Musk. Shit is on paper. Hey, listen, when you hear shit like Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg and them, right? They be saying shit like, yo, it was a day where Jeff Bezos lost like over $10 billion. How the fuck do you lose $10 billion of cash money, son? That can only be on paper. What vehicle do people have to come with to get $10 billion from you? What pocket did you go in to get something else and you mistakenly dropped the $10 billion? Which store did you go in where you gave motherfuckers a $10 billion bill and thought it was a single? If you get in an argument with a motherfucker and you lose billions of dollars, see, the first thing that's telling you, y'all was down. That's the first thing that's telling you, y'all was down, right? And the second thing, that was fake. It's not complicated. Shaquem, but that's why I say that there's no real code. There's just enough people that have interest in the same thing. Shows us the $10 billion. Yeah, man, listen, 10 billion? We're talking about real generational wealth now. See, the code has to be things that we do. In the code, in order for there to be a code, there has to be much more accountability just within the community. Like, you know, see, in the Black community, we got a lot of sayings that destroy any kind of code. They see whatever the nigga do, I ain't mad at you. The nigga, you getting paid, you getting some bread, all right, that's cool. You know, these people over here, you know what I'm saying, they can add on, but, you know, can't be counting their money though. Then no, there's no code. I mean, y'all, was everybody on code today and went to go vote? You don't want to be off code with that. Saladin doing his thing. I haven't heard nothing from. But you know, unfortunately for me, some of the things that I do, the way that I do things, I guess, kind of person I am. You got a lot of people that don't like me. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, this is something that I try to tell people a lot, right? Because a lot of people I don't like. But see, there's a difference between not liking somebody and disliking. Where it's not that I got a particular problem with you, but I don't like that person. Like, whatever, it might just be something they do that's like, nah, I don't like being around them. But I don't dislike the person, but I don't want them to come to my house. So, at this point right now, smell good, should vote for who? Now look, that's the point that I wanted to make, right? But I'm saying, look, there is important things going on down here. See, my point is not that you shouldn't vote, right? But it's that you have to produce the candidates. Like other groups, they have, somebody in there that was raised in their community, has their values and ethics, priorities, right? And see the world the same. You know what I mean? If I don't think nobody, if you running in Borough Park or some of these places, look, you got to be on code over it. But see, they deal with accountability. See, that's the person that we got to vote for. See, you coming in at the end. It's like you get into the store to buy the sneakers, but it's only two colors left now. And neither one of them, the reason this colors is left is because nobody else wanted it. Neither one of these colors is really it. But the orders given by Yakub to his followers to follow be a code or just a set of rules and regulations, or is that the same thing as a code to follow? Great example. Great example, right? There was a code, but nobody knew it because it was secret. So everybody's not, reacting together. People is telling on each other. Yo, this person over here, they not following the rules. There's no meeting that's that's happening with all of the followers. Everybody's there with their own fear of the system and what might happen from this if you cross the system. Because it's death It's death to anybody who reveals the secret. It's the same kind of thing when you in the army. This unit over here, they don't know that they being sent to die. If y'all some sacrificial people, just go over there, take that hill. We know you ain't gonna take it, but we need you to distract some people while we do what we really trying to do. You think if they told those people that, do you think they would be anywhere near successful? They told them, look, we just sending you over there to die. We really don't even have no objective over there. So yeah, you got people in the background with their agendas. But see, like I said, whoever don't got their own determined idea, that's what you become a pawn in somebody else's strategy. Not sure how much I miss. However, it isn't a code, any code, just a person's mode of operation in any given society. Yeah. But, so yeah, a person can have just a personal code. You know what I'm saying? But in this particular instance, we're talking about a group code. To see, first of all, we all got to know the code. Like, see, we all know supreme mathematics. So see, when we say, what's today's mathematics, right? What's today's supreme mathematics, right? We all could be on that code, but you got to tell me that first. You can't just ask me today's supreme mathematics. That's why every time somebody says a code, okay, what's the code? See, what does exist is big ideas. See, when you got a big enough idea, right, with a big enough promise that that idea is going to improve the people's lives, then people are unified around that idea. See, like America is an idea like that, right? Where, the average white person, if you ask them, like, what's your background? Like, where's your family from in Europe? They don't know. Like, they might, they like, yeah, some like German and Irish, they vaguely might have heard something. But if they've been over here any amount of time, they don't know. There's people whose names that I see that I know your family is from, is your family came to Ellis Island and they changed their name. See, Christianity is a big idea like that. Nationalism, socialism, communism. These is big ideas that brought people together that never got along. Some of them didn't even know each other. But Christianity, in terms of the things that we know about, Christianity is, at least one of the first big ideas of this era of history that we know about. That was a part of the purpose of it, is that you had this vast Roman Empire with all different kinds of people, with all different types of codes that they was living by. In supreme mathematics, you seen brothers argue. I mean, it happens. I would suggest that, because, that's another thing that, like I said, that's a little bit crazy. But look, you know, supreme mathematics, right, is uh is fairly cut and dry. You know what I'm saying? Like knowledge is knowledge, wisdom is knowledge, wisdom. You know, I don't really, I would, I have some question about if uh uh what they was arguing about with supreme mathematics. You know, they may have been using those words, but how do you argue over 1 + 1 is 2? Culture, freedom, power, refinement. Yeah, that's they're not really arguing over mathematics. Yeah, that's another thing District 120. There's a lot of uh things that happen online in terms of disputes that, yeah, I've never, in person. They don't really. Yeah, but see, people find a difference in coming to conflict is something different. Like when I'm saying that there's no code, right? I'm saying that, look, Thurgood Marshall, he did his thing, right? Without Thurgood Marshall, he's him and his team, some other brothers was down with that too. They went into the courts and actually tried all those cases. From Brown versus Board of Education, they was the ones that was going in there challenging the Constitution, right? Causing them to put on paper that, yeah, what we're doing is this is not just, right? He would never have approved of the things that the Black Panthers was doing. But they also had a tremendous impact on the justice that we got. Some of the things that Thurgood Marshall established may have never come, they may have never honored that. So who was on code and who was off code? In that situation, how would the code how are both of those people I shake that up together. I guess nobody wants to touch that one because see, to me, the only code we can look at is the end result of what we're trying to achieve. Like look, if I wanted to weigh in, like I've already weighed in on one thing that I think we should do if we want to deal with a code, right? Is we've got to, start nurturing our own politicians. From the time of, educating them, to supporting their, entry into it in terms of the they gotta have money in order to run and be in that political field. To me, that's now you're moving. See, now that's something that even if I don't like you, even if I'm Jewish and you Muslim, is Don Bishop in here? Man, let me take that back. Even if I'm Hebrew and you Muslim, right? But we know what we're doing. So I ain't got to talk to you. Right? We could both be working on this thing right here. See, that's why with them, when you see how the media do it, they put, yo, look, see this person right here? Yo, this person is bad, yo. They are bad. They are evil, 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 evil. Yo, this person is bad, man. Yo, they terrorists, man, nuclear bombs, man. Listen, this person right here, man. You see, every night they tell you a little bit more how evil this person is. So now it don't matter what walk of life people come from in America, you focus on getting that guy. Like, look, I'm gonna weigh in on one thing that I've been trying to avoid. But listen, this is because it specifically pertaining to this topic in my opinion, right? Right now, if you want to deal with cold, right, Kyrie Irving should retire from the NBA and go play in Ice Cube's league. Now, while he's still in his prime, see, now's the time to go blow up the league of somebody who you're not gonna have to kiss all the sack. Because let's face it, they've been giving Kyrie the business. Listen, here's the thing. There's no IQ test to be a citizen. You could be stupid. You could be wrong, all of that. Whether you disagree with them or not, you know what I'm saying? You can see that, listen, you already got a target on your back. But now's the time. Like, look, you already got your money. NBA is guaranteed. I'm saying that's how you build something that is not going to be different. Where you going to, we're not going to be sitting here, right, 100 years after Marcus Garvey, who was 100 years, you know what I'm saying, after whoever else, all talking about the same shit. In every city in America, talking about the same shit. What Dion is doing with HBCUs, I don't know in particular what he's doing. I know that he's coaching You know what I'm saying? And that is bringing, some prestige back over there. So I don't know if that was his whole plan because I just didn't hear about it, but precisely. He said, nurture them, but what will be their motive to remain loyal? Many people have been endorsed, yet switch up when they cross the proverbial other side. What will be the unifying factor mentally? Well, is that it's more and more money available, right? And it's more and more money that's needed the higher they go up in the political process. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm also saying is that, at least in our lifetime, right? We took them out back in the Mega Evans time and all of that, right? In our lifetime, the vast majority of those people have been educated. Where they get their degree and their credentials, where they get their first jobs. If everything mess up in politics, right? What community, right, can they go back to and it's like, yeah, you fucked up, but you from here. We'll let you live this way. You still family. See, for the most part, the people that's been politicians in our lifetime, the answer to that is never us. The answer to where they got their education from is not us. You know what I'm saying? They went to the university of this, university of that, this university, that university, and none of them was Howard. And that's a whole other can of worms, but let's just stop right there. None of them was Harvard. See, they get on the city council, right? On the city council, they they 100%. You know what I'm saying? They might get a little state senator and they still keep it 100. See, now you start crossing over in the Congress, you get into the Senate in order to get that much money, right? To be governor, now you got to start being beholden to other people. Yo, Chuck Schumer used to be the man, son. When Chuck Schumer was strictly a New York politician, saying people you can't fuck with the people in New York, saying. Again, kind of things going on, some unjust shit is happening over here to the people on the street. Yeah, I gotta cut that shit out. See, now he don't think about New York. Don't no senator from New York think about New York. Once they win, they in. Seriously. Yeah. Come on, man. See, those Muslims I see the Muslims is still, what's the name? They still putting them ads on my page. And that's this yeah, man, I just, this thing with the code, yeah, it was just, so a lot of y'all just coming in, you know, and start going a little different ways, man. But my original point was just that you can't use the code to defend people that's off code. And whatever there is of a code, right? If we saying that, okay, it's just a certain way we want to go about handling things, right? Once you go off that code, you can't then use the code in your defense. The example I used earlier is that, listen, let's say, we doing whatever, we growing up, right? We from the sandbox, you know, eventually as life goes on, we gang, one for all for one. But then if somebody in the gang becomes a snitch, this person cannot then turn around and say, yeah, we all gang though. You can't turn around and then, it's like you're relying on the brotherhood when people approach you about why you did what you did. Is this my screen frozen? knows, I froze up for a second. But we talking about what's in Buffalo. Um, I mean, it takes sincerity, right? But this is what I'm saying, right? Now, we got some brothers, right, that uh, you know, was fighting for freedom, justice, and equality for all of us, right? That were assassinated by individuals that look like us. Could the person who did the assassination use Pan-Africanism as a reason why that should be accepted? See, it's the, you know, you gotta be consistent or you end up making yourself look foolish. You're right. People use all types of shields. But see, here's the thing, right? If we got this code that doesn't allow people to be punished, right? Then what's the penalty? What's the, what's the incentive not to be a fucked up person? Yeah, I can't come up with any reason either. Unless we've turned unless we've turned black into a religion. See, because once you're dealing with religion, right, then everything is true by faith. It don't matter what it looks like now. It don't matter what the reality is, what the facts is. It's the faith. Question. Yakub did not build prison houses for his people, right? One fell victim to the law, the penalty was death. It was enforced on everyone that fell a victim, correct? So what do you do when people fuck up? That's an open question, right? By the way, that was the UK self-out says it depends. As I am older now, I have to be wiser with responding to people, and so be in a BS, or I could fall victim. I keep most at a distance, enough rope to hang themselves. Anyone else? Yakub didn't build prison houses for his people. So what do you do, right? I'm asking, what do you do when someone fucks up? Attempt to correct them? Can't be that. You know, they got to want to correct themselves. That's the only thing you run into with that. Depends on the offense, definitely not. Knowing everybody when somebody fucks up, yeah, just let them. So you said, as you stated in part, even if that would get a chance to clean himself up, demonstrate forgiveness, however fool we want, shame on me. All right, now, that was the 29th degree, right? That was the 29th degree. The answer is in the 8th degree, in the 1 to 14. The question was, Yakub built prison houses for his people. I mean, probably Yakub didn't build prison houses for his people. And the one fell victim to the Lord, the penalty was death, and was enforced on everyone who fell victim. So what do you do, right, when somebody fucks up? Anyone? No one? Deal with those in the common cause. You see, the part you left out is running from amongst you. Yeah, yourself that be out. Yeah, that's another little thing, an observation that I made, in the time that I wasn't coming on, is that, uh, you know, uh, it's just that, uh, freedom is like, say you got freedom of speech, right? Your freedom of speech doesn't work unless I got freedom of attention. Like they necessarily have to go together, right? That you can be free to say whatever you want to say, right? I gotta be free to say I don't want to hear that shit and go over there. See, when you get to the point where you think that your freedom to say what you got to say includes me liking it, then it's not freedom. If I don't have the freedom to, respond however I want to respond. But yeah, of course. Like I said, you got, people are snitching on each other on the in that process right there. So, yeah, not too many of Yakub's followers is going to be spending too much time trying to correct nobody when the penalty is death. Yeah, you're right. District 120, you might end up falling it. So in case they leave them alone, especially if they grown, because I'm telling you something. There's some people, right? Like a lot of people that's doing negative, right? They locked in on it. Like they have a determined idea to do that negative. See, whereas, you out there, you kind of just moving about your day and shit, right? Like that's who they looking for. So you out to do positivity, right? But coming in tune with this person, right, is just gonna pull you into a negative world. Because the negative idea is so determined, right? Versus you just kind of go through the motion. It's dude. So some people you may have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. For example, like you just said, going to school, you definitely gotta have composure and self-awareness in order not to fall victim. You ever see uh even when you gotta do that, right? You're still moving within the bounds of what we dealing with. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like, look, you gotta deal with them, right? So depending on the person, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, this may be somebody where, you know, for whatever reason, right? In their dealings with you, you wouldn't have to kill them as quick as you would other devils. They could come and do trading amongst you. Not my man, not come to my house. For some of them, you can come and do trading ones, right? And then some of them, right? Listen, you know, you can't be reformed. So this situation, look, you gotta find a way to cut this shit short. That's how you use the sword. Keep that shit short. Cut it to the moment when, you know, you is on the same sidewalk at the same time. But I'm going left, you going right. We're gonna shake hands, we're gonna speak socially. Look, here's that file. Thank you. That's it. But ultimately, these are all the reasons why at least for some people, right? Everybody gotta have knowledge of self and know, okay, I can move in this world over here, right? In this world over here, this is not my comfort zone. See certain things that's why we gotta, establish at least that option, right? Is that no matter, it don't matter black people, white people, whatever, right? When you deal with standardization, right? There's certain people that don't fit within that. Like, if you're above a certain height, you can't go in the military. If they don't have uniforms and they standard issue, they don't have uniform your size. So see, we got a certain amount of people that's like, they're not going to conform. They're not going to be able to conform. And look, that's always existed. Is and I mean, the way I'm gonna say it is a little bit, or the way I've heard it before, but just in terms of that was the kind of the whole idea behind the bootleg and the talented Tenfino was that everybody was not going to be able to assimilate. And so, I see that in other communities, that kind of exists. Like for the people who can't assimilate, there's still a way for them to survive within that community. Like here in New York, you got people that's been here before I was born, don't speak no English. The worst thing is the worst thing is the prison house. See, the worst part about doing the prison house, right, is first you have to build that prison house in your mind. You have to make a space for this person in your mind. Then you got to keep that space established the same way you got to do it physically. You got to go over there and check to see if they escape. That's when you start getting into levels of hate. Hate goes by levels. It's an assimilation process at times means leaving your manhood at the door. I've seen a lot of brothers checking a job and at the justice. I mean, take all type of disrespect and say not it. I mean, uh, you know, I don't want to, attack brothers for work. That's not my point or what I'm saying. I'm just saying that in terms of us seeing that these kind of things exist. You know what I mean? Like, you said brothers, right? And, specifically across the board, not just with black men, men across the board, first of all, just for the fact that a lot of the physical labor, right, is not what the job market consists of. You know what I'm saying? It's not, the like the docks down in downtown, right, in New York, where it used to be, big burly guys down there taking boxes off of ships and loading them on the trucks and everything. It's those are like clubs and you go party over there. So just by virtue of that, right, and us specifically being black men, I'm saying that that's something that we have to be strategic about. You understand what I'm saying? I'm saying that, okay, we can see that we're being phased out over here. Now we can sit back and wait to see where's the other place that they're going to phase us in. Right? Or we could look at that and say, okay, now we see, how we got to move in terms of the solution. Is that a form of infatuation when you keep people on your mind that you don't care about, that don't care about you? Is that a form of mentally self-imposed prison? Yeah. Because see, that's the other thing, right? Like I said, everything that's happening with that prison physically is happening mentally. Right? So in order for you to keep this person in prison, you got to be in there with them. Like I said, you got to make sure they don't escape. Right? And you're very interested. You want them to suffer. So now you got to sit there and make sure they suffer and watch the suffering every day. They call that correction officer now. And get benefits, all that. See, I see me. I got people that I don't like, right? And I forgot why I don't like them. And when I see them, I know that yeah, that's the person I don't like. But I can't even remember why I don't like. Not that I let it go. Just saying that I don't, I don't. Just when I see them, I stay away from them. But I can't really, that takes mental energy. I got this shit on my mind where like all the things that slip my mind, right? Like think about an average day, right? It slipped people's mind where they left their keys, right? It slipped their mind that they had this appointment or that appointment, but it don't slip your mind that this nah, for me it's the other way. It slipped my mind what you did, but that's the only, I don't need nothing else. And see, when I see you, I just, yeah, stay away from me. I don't have to think about it. So my blood start wasn't not when people work at it. Scratch my head when people quick to run up their mouth, but tremble when master come around. They whisper behind their backs. I mean, yeah, that's what I was just saying, just in terms of, yeah, we don't want to condemn people for making a living. But, yeah, in terms of, you know, that got a lot to do with, like people's motives, you know what I'm saying, in a, just how they treat people. See, a lot of people, you know, they treat people, they treat people how they do based upon which the rewards and the consequences. You know what I'm saying? Not really, it's not really just a value that they have that this is the kind of person that they are. That's another thing that I've been hearing quite a bit recently. You know, like when you heard anybody say, yo, like, uh, it could be somebody for whatever reason, right? Uh, and I'm saying particularly, I noticed this with black people. This don't happen to other groups, right? Well, at least maybe I'm just not deep enough in the experience. They never told me about that or whatever, so I can't say it don't happen to them. But how it could just be a situation where a person will say, well, we got this difference, right? But the white man is still gonna call both of us a nigga. yo, the white man still looks at this like that. Has anybody ever heard people saying that? How does how do you see that statement? Like when people like I hate to single people out. That's I don't like throwing people under the bus, right? But it's just a lot of different situations, right? Where I've seen where there'll be two individuals or maybe two groups, right? And they'll say, you know, you should accept us, because black people especially, right? We known as xenophobic. You know what I'm saying? Even, to let's say somebody might be here, like I don't know if y'all are aware of the ADOS versus Pan African kind of debate going on, right? So you might have somebody they from wherever in Africa, and these two people would be debating, right? And so, one of them that's coming from one side, he would say, well, look, the white man is still going to call both of us a nigga. So, like that's what makes us the same, is that the white man is going to call both of us a nigga. I just, I have it. I'm funny. I have a way of looking at that most people don't like. I don't know. I guess y'all ain't here. But, my yeah, I don't really get into it with people. But if anybody ever said that to me, my point would be, why would I make my decision based upon what white people is doing? Why do I care what the white man calls you? He might not like you for good reason. Who I'm rolling with is not just the fucking leftovers and misfits from who the white man ain't like. Since when do I base my decisions on something like that? That is one of the dumbest logics I've ever heard. So if your friends jump off a bridge, you're going to jump off a bridge too. What? I don't know. How do people say these days? That's weird to me. That's weird. It's getting about that time. We're about to wind this. We're about to wind this down. It's time for me to hit the streets. Just a little couple PSAs. Chef Bill said people are very, very sensitive now. Everything is internalized based on what someone else says. So they get tossed to and fro by the latest headline or newscaster, no lasting foundation. You know, this is a little bit of an odd concept. I think they got something to do with selfies and shit. And like Instagram and all of that. Uh, you know, and I think in terms of people's mentality, right, of caring what other people think so much, is that first of all, uh, people see themselves. I'm talking about just physically. People see themselves a lot more today than they did before, you know, front facing cameras and shit. You know what I'm saying? And people do a lot more shit like this. You know what I'm saying? You want instances, so it's like you know that it's all these people seeing you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not saying that you're thinking like that. It's not consciously on your mind, you know, but subconsciously, you know, you're never just going to take out the garbage now. What was your method used to teach your children at home? What was your process? How did you make it cool for them or attractive? Um, but you know, it's different aspects to that. You know, you know, uh, some of it was just kind of that I was me, you know what I'm saying? Like uh I always was, doing a lot of teaching, doing a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? So, my circle was always uh, like 5%, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the people that's coming through, that's the people that they seeing, and just that interaction on its own. Um, like at least from what I've seen, you know what I'm saying? Like to a lot of people, just that aspect of it. That it's like, say like in the American culture, right? There's 4th of July, there's Christmas. You know what I'm saying? There's Thanksgiving, there's Halloween, there's, you know what I'm saying? There's some fun aspects of the culture. You know what I'm saying? So I think they had a good ride, in terms of that. The other thing is everything is drilled in early. So just from being around the language, you know what I'm saying, being immersed in it. That's kind of what I was trying to say with that first point that I was making, that they was totally immersed in, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, I come in the house and, I asked them to just quote the lessons and then, that's it. It's like, nah, like the people, how when you go to somebody's house and you play with their kids and everything, when people was coming over it, they're like, yo, peace, young guy, And so them being immersed in it, especially, that's one of the most important things is to see if they mother got to know. You see what I'm saying? So now it's not like they thinking that this is like an individual thing that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, like with it was a day when at least my 2 oldest sons, it was a day when they realized that something was going on. When I came in the house, they asked me, like, look, we started meeting other people in the family. You know what I'm saying? Like they getting up there, like 4 or 5, something like that. So they going around. So one day I come in, they like, yo, we go to all these other places, right? And none of them, like how you got the knowledge? That's what they asked me one day. How you got the knowledge? Like, all these other people in your family, they don't got the knowledge. How you got it? So they were so immersed in it for so long that it's just I don't think it's like for me, right? I can still sing Jesus loves the little children. I can still tell you Pledge of Allegiance. You understand what I'm saying? Those is because right now that's where I'm at. Is that everything's gotta focus on the first years. You know, especially with a lot of brothers, you only got 11 and 12 years to talk to them anyway. After that, they ain't listen. You know, see, that's what I'm saying. Like right now, you know, a lot of the programs that we got established, right, is kind of like programs for kids that already had problems. And that's great. They need to be up. But I'm saying that somewhere down the line, we got to stop people from getting into these problems. See, everything else that's going on, even in terms of, why is there Ronald McDonald? Because being able to ingrain that in, right? Being able to ingrain that in at a young age, right? It for life, that's it. Like a lot of grown people don't eat cereal today. But if they get in a conversation about cereal, you can see their juices flowing. Got your cereal, see, y'all new people, y'all don't know about that. See, I guess if you under like 30, see, you don't remember it. You got the cereal, right? But you got the whole box out. Parents, they ain't fucking with you today. Got the whole box of cereal. Cartoons is on. That's life. As soon as these go off, about to go out, get a little ball in. So it's the same thing. You know what I mean? And you gotta tell them what the other things is about too. And you gotta have your own what's in. Meaning like you can't like one of the things that I did right too is when that's I did right, I'm sorry, one of the things I did too was see, like take Christmas for instance, right? You got all these days that, like I said, they looking at everybody else have fun. So I never made it like, yo, you gotta wait till Christmas to get stuff. You gotta wait for this day or that day. So everybody else was like, yeah, we're waiting for Christmas so we could get that. I was like, nah, I already got that. I had that. I'll show you how to set it up. Because those are the things that they're using. They come around with the church stuff and singing songs and all this stuff like that. then at a certain point, uh, you gotta let them grow up though. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's knowledge and wisdom, but you know, in a way you kind of gotta uh some people don't think their own word is bond. If you said some shit, you believe that yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, that was one of the things, like that is also this experience that I had of my pops returning early. It was like, yo, uh, it really worked out for me having certain lessons already, in place. So once he returned, and of course, I got to put these into activation. So that was another thing, I wasn't trying to guide them in knowledge. They got the knowledge the same way as everybody else. Right? Know that now, go use it. You know what I'm saying? And they start teaching at a young age. Like elementary school, they was already influencing people. You know what I'm saying? But if you kind of like just, if they don't really never figure out what it's about, then well, I mean, that was the main one. The main one is you should call it hit the ground running. And but this was like before he even was sick and all that. He should just be saying, because my oldest brothers and sisters were born when he was a teenager. And I was born, he was in his 30s. So just sort of straight for that, you know what I'm saying? Plus, back in the days, it wasn't life expectancy wasn't the same, especially for brothers. So he's just always telling me that yo, you're gonna have to hit the ground running. Because I'm not gonna be here to be able to help. It just in general. See, like I said, going to school, in a whole other borough, when, like I said, when I get there, the real 50 Cent is walking around. You know what I'm saying? And he's not even, what I mean? I'm not trying to, downplay him, and I'm just saying that, look, he's not the baddest man over there. You know what I'm saying? Just knowing how to survive around these different people. You know what I'm saying? He took me around different people. He used to play chess. So, it'd be a lot of old timers play chess. You know what I'm saying? And, a lot of them he knew Like there's different people that was in every station of life. That you should just go talk to them, whatever. Some of them they used to come by the house, whatever. Remember, he used to be his Muslim cat. He used to come by and try to get us to be Muslim all the time. You know what I'm saying? And that was one thing. Like, see, even when I'm coming amongst the older brothers, is I'm used to being able to deal with older cats because I used to always go and kick it with them. And even after, like not even about chess, I should just go sit over there sometimes and just, hear their conversations and stuff. So that one went a long way. It just, that, like I said, knowing how to be, some place where it's like, yo, I'm by myself. There's a lot of wolves out here. How to not become a meal. There was some other shit he told me that I ain't even, at the time, I ain't know what it meant. But then, sometimes decades later, it's like, oh shit, yo, this motherfucker was saying that. Like one day I was sitting down, right? And I was thinking about all these different internet businesses that, I mean, I'm not saying they stole the idea from my pops, but just saying that ideas that he had, right, was kind of going in that direction. Like at that time, right, New York is, fucked up, in terms of real estate. You got all the abandoned shit. And he always was talking about, yo, we need to buy up all this property and rent it out. And now they got Airbnb. You know what I'm saying? And he had cash. He had like 2 cars, right? And whenever he wasn't driving, he used to rent them out to other people. I'm just saying, now you got Uber. Not saying that he would have developed it into that idea, but just saying that stuff like that, if I would have knew what he was talking about, like we just like I said, we taking me to see abandoned property. But he's like, nah, man, fixed up. If I would have known what he was talking about then, man. That was always his idea. Like, see how people be talking about generational wealth? That's how he always, business was always his name and son. That's what we used to go around looking at all this stuff. As we used to say, yeah, one day we gonna have this company right here. I'm gonna tell you another thing though. the reason why I brought up a lot of that stuff I brought up in the beginning is because one thing about them, right, that was a little bit different from when I grew up, right? There was no Bloods and Crips. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, look, I keep it at you, man. Bloods and Crips. Bloods and Crips come to my house since the mid-2000s. Kids that I've seen them grow up before they was in there. You know what I'm saying? There was, some of my son's best friends, but they never got involved, pretty much because it was like, like now, we guys, well, getting after it. Well, now, all the men in my family is present. There's only one person, they know who he is, though. I don't really know the whole story with that, but I got some grace for him. But yeah, everybody's right. My great grandfather was, my grandfather was just see, he's see, he grew up sharecropping and all of that. So he was the type of person that's like, as long as everybody's all right, you know what I'm saying? We're right, like, you know what I'm saying? Anything, your homework is done, all of that, and he was just another one of those people that like it wasn't like no academic shit. Like, see, my pops, we'd read books and shit. Like, we would read books and he would explain to me, we should read the Bible. He used to explain to me, what I'm saying, what the stuff meant. I remember when he first time he explained to me what it meant, when Adam knew Eve. My grandfather, on the other hand, was a person that would tell you stories. And inside the stories was built in lessons. Okay, he'd just tell you different stories, like, when he told me the reason why he came to New York and all that. But he's a little more, the two things you gotta remember that's different between those two and me and them, right, is that he was only about 17 or something like that when he had my pops. So pretty much, I think by the time he gets to New York, he's like 19. You know what I mean? So those two grew up a little bit more together. Whereas by the time I came, both of them had already, learned their lessons as men, and then specifically being in New York. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, how to survive out here with the wolves using your head. They had that more perfected by the time I came. They came in the car. I'm not sure, but they said for a while, like there was years. I mean, I never seen them do it. But they said for years that my grandfather would not take 95. That he'd take 189 all the way to South Carolina and back. 95 is the white man's road. That to me is the wildest shit. If you're not from the East Coast, you don't know that 189 got lights. They said, how you drive all the way down south? How you drive all the way down south? With motherfucking lights, man. That's wild to me. Yeah, yo, oh, man. Bro, you turning, man, it's been crazy, man. I just got some word that the brother say, cool, return to the essence. That was some wise, man. It was really, starting to, and then it's like I said, it's starting to be people that's not that old. Not starting to be, it's some of this way is getting a little bit crazy. But it's one of the things where you gotta take the good with the bad too. You know what I'm saying? Because uh it's worth something to be around for that long. As a nation, as individuals. So you gotta take that part of the good with the bad. I mean, there's no way to say, we've been around 100 years and not this it's a science universal. I'm gonna hit you on Instagram. I got another what's the name I can use? But yeah, I'm telling you. Oh man. So yeah, that's just the point we at, man. At least that I'm at. Where it's like, man, it's like a handful of us left. You know, they got me listening. I'm pretty I'm pretty much, man. Listen, I'm about to kiss the ring myself, man. I was gonna go to the doctor, but in a way though, it's like, you know, I don't know how much it's like I'm saying, like, let's say if I go, right, and they say something's wrong with me, it's a limitation of shit that I'm doing. I'm not taking 100 pills, not, you understand what I mean? So wait, it's like shit might be better if you. But if it's something like simple, where it's like, all right, look, uh, eat more vegetables, then I can do that. Yeah, man. So many people right now, man. We just make sure all my arteries is clear and shit. Because everybody in my family got well, everybody on my mother's side, everybody got high blood. My little sister got high blood. She been at it. Everybody wear glasses too. Except me. Seven power. Yeah, like I said, man, I'm good right now, man. But we losing so much brothers. We losing so much brothers, man. It's making me want to make sure I'm all right. The last time I had something, a piece of cotton broke off the Q-tip and got stuck in my ear. And I went to the doctor, to the clinic for them to get it out. And when they took my blood pressure at the time, it was like at the it was like at the rim of being high. Like it was something that because I asked him that, like, yo, what's up with it? He was like, I mean, it's something like I keep an eye on it, you know what I'm saying? But like right now, I'm not gonna I'm not medicine, not like that for what I mean? And then plus he was like, see, just like that shit being in your ear and you a little bit stressed out, he's like, it could be hard because of that. So hopefully I ain't got it. Some people they got that diabetes in my family too. And then I forget one time, who was that? I was like my cousin. He asked me if I got any insulin. First of all, no, I don't. But when you talk about something that you inject, I didn't think that was like that's something that anybody could just take anybody's. True story. What's the deal? You know, I've been meaning to talk to you for a minute too, because I hold you and Rob Warren responsible. I hold you and Rob Warren responsible for the new iteration of the apples, which I'm not sure who they are now because it's like a split between the Aboriginals and the Indians, or where I'm not sure how it goes. But it's clear that they've they've uh, they've grown in their methods. They're much more smooth in their delivery of their thesis now. It's y'all kind of, it's like y'all are like the Boston Celtics for the Detroit Pistons in the 80s. Like the experience that they had with y'all definitely made them stronger. That's why I said it's up to y'all. Y'all gotta go because they just better at presenting a thesis in having enough excerpts of history in there to cast a much wider net. So let it be on your head. Let it be on your head as the Blackfoot Nation grows. That's all right. Listen, I'm telling you. Y'all, listen, if they don't give y'all credit, that's not right. We're gonna start in right now. I haven't been over there in a minute. We're gonna start back over Thanksgiving holiday. We're gonna start with math, science, and reading tutor for those standardized tests and all that. Actually, yeah, that's a good idea. Come through and give me like a reading list, right, of books for like elementary school kids. We going all the way up to high school, but like I was saying earlier, my focus is on the really young because the pipeline starts so young. Where they put those forks in the road where you start going this way, and then it's really hard to get back that way. You know what I'm saying? But just saying that, if we had some particular books where, not just they developing a reading skill, but what it is that they reading is also impactful too, that'd be best. But right now I got the paint. I'm getting ready to paint the classroom. Get some couple new stuff, little desks. Got a couple of computers I'm gonna set up over there, and I'm gonna start doing that. And I got some people that's gonna come by and do financial literacy. And I'm looking for somebody that knows how to do coding. I got the program set up, but I don't know. That's a good idea right there, true story. I got the program set up, but I don't know how to do the coding. So we're gonna, for 2023, we're gonna have an expanded syllabus over there. All right, no doubt. That's good. We definitely can use it. So then that way, because we had, the boxing is years now. This is 6 years for that. Civilization class, that's back to the 90s. We went to the school board meeting. At the school board meeting, they said that that district over there that the school is in, that the worst attendance and standardized test scores in the city. But at any rate, about to jump up out of here. Everybody do the each one, teach one, hit the like button. We're gonna sign off. Who knows when we'll get another PSA. I didn't even plan to be on this one. But in the meantime, between time, we're gonna sign off and say peace.